The Legend of Zelda is one of the most beloved Nintendo franchises in gaming. From epic dungeon crawling to wide open exploration, it's a series that's inspired countless adventures for decades. But what if you already saved Hyrule a dozen times and you are looking for something new? Well, you are in luck. Today we are diving into 8 great games like The Legend of Zelda. Games that capture the same sense of discovery, puzzle solving and action-packed adventure, while putting their own unique spin on the formula. So sit back, relax, and let's start the show! Number 1. CrossCode. CrossCode is one of the best hidden gems out there. An offline action RPG with an incredible story, fluid real-time combat, and some of the most challenging puzzles I've ever played. You play as Lee, a mute character exploring an MMO world called Crossworlds. At first, she can only say hi and her own name, and the game makes even that feel special. The story dives much deeper, but I won't spoil it. What I can say is that the writing is fantastic and every character feels alive. From Lee's expressive silence to Emily, her chatty, hilarious friend. Gameplay misses fast-paced battles with puzzle-filled dungeons and tough bosses. It's challenging, sometimes brutally so, but solving those puzzles and beating bosses is incredibly rewarding. Add in elemental powers, hundreds of weapons and armors, and endless ways to customize your playstyle, and the depth is amazing. On top of that, the 16-bit pixel art world is gorgeous, full of secrets, and runs flawlessly even on weaker hardware. With tons of content, new game plus, and hours upon hours of replayability. CrossCode is one of the finest modern RPGs you can play. If you love Zelda-style puzzles and classic RPG charm, you won't regret picking it up. Number 2. Tunic. One of the first games I ever played was Link's Awakening on my Game Boy, and Tunic instantly brought me back to that sense of mystery and wonder. You play as a little fox in a green tunic, exploring a strange island full of secrets, puzzles and brutal bosses. It clearly takes inspiration from Zelda, but also from Dark Souls. Combat is tough but fair. You will be dodging, managing stamina and learning enemy patterns until that rush of finally beating a boss hits. If that sounds overwhelming, there are accessibility options to make the journey easier. But the real magic of Tunic is discovery. Instead of hand-holding, it scatters pages of a beautifully illustrated instruction manual that slowly teaches you mechanics, lore and even secret codes. It feels like being a kid again, grabbing tips on the playground, except this time the mysteries really pay off. With its charming art, soothing music and deep, rewarding design, Tunic isn't just a love letter to Zelda. It is its own unique adventure. Keep your wits about you, be brave little fox, and you will uncover one of the most enchanting indie games in years. If you enjoyed this so far and love discovering games like Zelda, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the channel. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe so don't miss what's coming next. Number 3. Okami. People say this game has been a classic ever since it came out on the PlayStation 2, and I have to agree. You take control of the Japanese sun goddess Amaterasu, and she is reborn in the body of a white wolf, and are tasked with bringing back light to the cursed land of Nippon. Armed with your divine weapons in the form of either a reflector, a rosary or a glaive, and your celestial paintbrush, you explore a waste world that while it can hold a candle to a gigantic open world games of 2010 and beyond, then manages to be packed with a higher density of very interesting content. As a new player, you're looking at 33 hours just to complete the story, and up to 52 hours if you're looking to get 100% completion, which for $20 is pretty much a steal. The story is long and epic, but it doesn't take itself so seriously that you can have good, light-hearted moments with tons of charming characters. Encounters with friends and foes alike are memorable for all the right reasons. Okami is inspired by Japanese history and culture, and it shows in every aspect of the game, including the instruments chosen for the soundtrack, the Sumi art style that shall remain timeless and shines in high definition, and the story which borrows heavily from myths and legends from the land of the rising sun. Your main tool throughout the adventure is the celestial paintbrush, an ability that allows you to stop time at any moment, rotate the camera freely and turn your screen into a canvas. Using either a mouse and a keyboard or a controller, you can then throw symbols on the screen and watch them affect the world around you. From repairing a broken bridge by filling in the missing parts, to slicing monsters in half with well-placed slash on your canvas, the possibilities are varied and your powers are put to good use in many situations. While everything hasn't aged perfectly and some text boxes could benefit from allowing you to speed them up, the original experience is still intact and well worth playing even 19 years later since it came out. Number 4. Immortals, Fenyx Rising. Immortals, Fenyx Rising, a game where Greek gods are useless, the world's on fire, and you, just some random soldier, have to fix everything. Basically, unpaid intern of Olympus. The story is told by Zeus and Prometheus, who bicker like an old married couple. Imagine two dads doing stand-up comedy while you fight monsters. Prometheus is serious, Zeus is like, ha! Let's make more fart jokes. And somehow it works. Then there are the puzzles. Oh boy, the puzzles. Want to move a block? Cool, now stack 5 more, line them up perfectly, shoot an arrow through a flaming hoop, bounce it off a mirror, and oh, you still forgot to stand on the pressure plate. You will feel like Einstein or an absolute clown. Combat, surprisingly awesome. You got a sword, an axe and bow, light attacks, heavy attacks, and juggling enemies like you are auditioning for Greek mythology, Cirque du Soleil. Oh, and don't forget the god powers. Because nothing says fun like smashing a Cyclops with a glowing hammer the size of a minivan. So yeah, story funny, puzzle brain melting, combat chief's kiss. Immortals Fenyx Rising is like Greek mythology's chaotic theme park ride. You will scream, laugh, and maybe throw your controller once or twice. Final verdict: Zeus might be a clown, but you will feel like a legend. Number 5. Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud on PlayStation 2 is one of my favorite childhood games. It's a mix of dungeon crawling, RPG action, town building, and adventure, almost like a Japanese take on The Sims blended with Zelda-style combat. You play as Tone, a boy tasked with rebuilding villages destroyed by the Dark Genie. Each dungeon floor has monsters to fight and special orbs containing pieces of the village. Between dungeon runs, you return to place buildings, restore shops, and interact with villagers, making every town feel alive. The game really shines with its characters. Tuan, Xiao, the cat girl, Guru, the warrior, Ruby, the sorceress, Ungaga, Osmond, and even Seda later on. Each new area introduces fresh party members, items and music, and the soundtrack is absolutely unforgettable. Sure, dungeons can get repetitive, but the constant sense of discovery, new bosses, and side quests keep it engaging. The graphics were beautiful for its time, colorful and unique, and the weapon leveling system added tons of strategy. Overall, Dark Cloud is an underrated gem, a 10 out of 10 in my book, and I'd love to see a modern remake. If you miss it back in the 2000s, don't skip this one. Number 6. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. One of the best Nintendo 64 games of all time is right here. The soundtrack, the wacky Japanese humor, the beautifully solid gameplay filled with plentiful mini-games and hidden collectibles, the ability to man your own robot, who is also a famous Hollywood star, along with his kick-butt opening theme. You also aren't limited to one character either. There are 4 in total, with 2 being playable from the get-go, who are Goemon and Ibusumaru, both with unique attacks, abilities, and, in Ibusumaru's case, quirks. The game shines brightest in its dungeons or fortresses. Each one is a wild mashup of traditional Japanese castles and surreal Peach Mountain designs. Sliding doors in Odeo Castle, festival lanterns in Festival Temple, even a submarine kitchen dungeon. They are packed with platforming challenges, locked doors, and puzzles that demand you switch between all 4 heroes. Shrieking with Ibusumaru, swimming as Ye, tossing firecrackers with Sasuke, or just backing through enemies as Goemon. Bosses cap things up with a mix of slapstick and spectacle, often leading into massive mecha battles with Goemon impact. The dungeons aren't as intricate as Zelda's, but they are full of personality, mixing quirky humor with reunion challenge. If you play for anything, it's these inventive fortresses, colorful, chaotic, and totally unique to Goemon's world. Number 7. Alundra. Alright, let's talk Alundra. The PS1 action adventure that looks like Zelda but cranks everything up to 11 with green hopping, wild puzzles, and more personality than your memory card could handle. You play as Alundra, the chosen dream walker. Basically, you dive into people's dreams and battle their inner demons, literally. One minute you are in a peaceful village, the next you are inside Farmer Bob's nightmare fighting lava monsters because he ate too much cheese before bed. It's brilliant! The puzzles, oh, they are legendary. These aren't your basic push block here, open door, nope, Alundra makes you think. And when you solve them, you feel like the Einstein of PlayStation. Every dungeon is like a brain gym with bonus treasure chests. And the combat, Chief's Kiss, swords, bows, magic spells, it's fast, fluid and surprisingly deep. Boss fights are massive, create and just the right amount of challenging. You go from smacking slimes to battling godlike monsters and it never stops being fun. Alundra is gorgeous, smart and packed with heart. It's one of those games that feels timeless, like an old school adventure that still shines today. If you love puzzles, action and a little dream magic, you've got to try it. This dream is worth diving into. And finally, number 8, Final Fantasy Adventure. Let's talk Final Fantasy Adventure aka Seiken Densetsu. Final Fantasy Gaiden aka the Game Boy Classic with more titles than a royal family member. This little grey cartridge is the granddaddy of the Mana series, and it's way cooler than a black and white game has any right to be. You play as a gladiator who escapes slavery, fight monsters and basically becomes the chosen one because, hey, it's a Japanese RPG. The story is surprisingly epic for a Game Boy game. It's got betrayal, love, strategy and a magic tree that is like a Wi-Fi router to the entire world. Combat, real-time action. None of that wait your turn business. You're swinging swords, casting spells and smacking enemies before they smack you. Oh yeah, did I mention you can ride a giant ostrich? Because Final Fantasy Adventure lets you ride one. That's instant Game of the Year material. And the puzzles, classic Zelda vibes. Push blocks, flip switches, slash through dungeons. It's simple but it works. Every dungeon feels like a bite-sized adventure that still makes you feel like a hero. So yeah, Final Fantasy Adventure may look tiny, but it's packing a full-blown fantasy epic in your pocket. It's charming, it's fun, and it started an entire legendary series. It's Final Fantasy, it's Mana. It's a giant game on the Game Boy. What else do you need? This is a legend you can literally fit in your pants. And there you have it. 8 fantastic games that capture the spirit of the Legend of Zelda. I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite Zelda title? Drop it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more great content. Keep gaming, I will see you next time right here on Omega's Movie.